This person doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
Good morning, Leeds fans, and welcome to Racel 1918 for another video. Couple of things. I've taken notes, so you might see me looking to the side or whatever and scrolling, but it's because I've taken a few notes. I didn't go on yesterday, didn't go on after the deadline day finished because, to be honest with you, I was just mentally done in with it all. Yesterday I had watched quite a few streams from different people that are in the YouTube space, and I thought at the end of the day I was just burnt out, and I wanted to do a video that could do justice, basically, that I'm not just talking through my arse, you know. I'm talking from a perspective where I can put a figure on things, or maybe not be so negative about everything. So, Leeds United's disastrous summer 2025 transfer window, and why I'm furious. Am I furious? No, I'm not. I'm annoyed, massively underwhelmed, massively disappointed. Don't think the manager's been backed. Not fully backed anyway. But I will say that the end of the window has been a total and absolute shambles. I'm not happy with that. In fact, I'm absolutely livid about the way the window closed. Like, we were meant to build on last season's promotion, but instead we've been left with a squad that's been barely improved. And I'll go into that. We haven't heard from the club yet, but we know they're going to push PSR. We know that. That's their get out of jail free card. But again, I'm going to try and break that down with a few stats and figures that we know of. Like, there's things obviously I'm not going to know of, like money in or out and signings that do they make us better? Defensively, yes, but have we a better attack now than we did last season? Probably not. But yeah, PSR, has it handcuffed us? Possibly, yeah, but we can't let that be used as an escape for the 49ers, especially the fact that nobody at the club's fronted up in 2 days. It's radio silence, complete. And if you go on to see, they put out a tweet yesterday about the international players going on duty, 10 of them, and they got absolutely hammered, and rightly so. Where are the signings? Where's the ambition? Let's talk first of all about the lack of signings. The Premier League clubs, 20 Premier League clubs, spent over it was the most ever spent, £3 billion plus in a window, and that's crazy. But for us to compete, we know that there's a massive gap between the Championship and the Premier League, and it's inexcusable that you can come out in public television and say we're going to spend every penny we're allowed to spend, that we're going to back Daniel Farke. He was never backed by Norwich properly in the Premier League, and we're going to back him. We're going to give him the tools. But what you've done, Parag, is given the man a butter knife to walk into a gunfight. He has got no cutting edge up front, and we'll discuss that. So, we've brought in 10 players, and in the face of that, that's good business. 10 players in a window is very good business, you know, if you look at it without looking at the actual detail of it. You compare our spend to other people around us, like Sunderland have come up and spent 180 to 200 million. Burnley have invested, West Ham have invested, Everton have massively invested. And then you look at ourselves, and I'll touch on each player, but we have brought in our main signings, our big signings. I'll talk, the first one that came in was Lucas Nemacha. Germany international, very good, brilliant, happy days. Scoring record 12 goals in 78 Bundesliga appearances over 3 years. Okay, free transfer. He's very injury prone. I'm not saying he's not a good player. What I'm saying is it's a massive gamble. He missed 40% of games last season. Jakob Biel, I'm very happy with Jakob Biel. He's a solid defender, and personally I don't think we can give up on that man. I think he's outside of the top 4 in Italy. He was probably the best centre back in Italy. For now, we have only 5.1 million. I think that'll be a good signing. But the problem is he a Premier League player? Possibly high Championship, possibly low Premier League. The reality is, I think we've got to be careful on how we rate Bornau, because I don't think he's going to be top level. I think he's going to be a bench filler for most of the season. Gabriel Gudmundsson, I'm going to try and get these in order type thing, if you know what I mean. So he was like 10 million-ish from Lille, good experience. I'll be honest, he's one of the bright sparks of this season. Poor against Arsenal, but against Everton was very good in his debut. Against Newcastle, I thought he was absolutely amazing. I think him and Bogle on both wings are best wingers at the minute, which is really poor. Not in their reflection, but then you have Anton Stack. We have a fee of it raises to approximately 19.9 million. He's our highest paid player, I think, at this stage. Well, at this stage until January, unless we sign somebody. People say, oh, maybe you've overpaid. No, Anton Stack's, he's above the level that we're fighting at right now. Lucas Perry, in my opinion, as well. He's a great signing. People giving him grief about them Arsenal goals. He just needs to stop. He had no chance for anything. Let's be honest. He's good against Newcastle. People giving off about the distribution and all. Goalkeeping is about saving the ball. It's about keeping the ball out of the net. This whole crack about we have to play like Ederson every game is a joke. Listen, we can't play like Ederson. We can't play like Man City. We can't play like the likes of a Liverpool playing out from the back. We'll get annihilated if we try to do that. We've seen it against Arsenal, and it was an absolute joke. How good a Gyökeres didn't score against us, I just don't know. But moving into Okafor, I think can be a very good player. I think he can be a top player. But again, he's injury prone, massive injury prone. Was it 13 to 15 million or something like that? He scored 14 goals in 100 league games in Swiss League. I think he's solid. I don't think he's amazing. I hope he really kicks on and plays well for us. I think he's got the ability. Does he have the drive? We need him to. Sean Longstaff, we all know about Sean Longstaff. I think he's going to be one of the unsung heroes this year. I think James Justin's probably going to be similar, purely because he's going to have to fill in at both sides. That's it. 10 players. No statement saying DCL, actually, obviously, people have talked about him. But yeah, 10 players. There's nobody there that would be marquee. No statement signing. No £30 million signing that we've been promised. But that's that. I'm backing these players to help to go and try and move us forward, keep us in the league. But it's not the players' fault. It's not Daniel Farke's fault that I'm getting at here. It's the failures of the board. It's the failure of Parag Murata. It's the failure of Adam Underwood. That's what I'm getting at. We've had 11 players that we have missed out on. We've signed 10 players and we missed out on 11. 11. We've missed out more than we have signed who are better quality player. It just became embarrassing, like a comedy of errors. Manor Solomon. Were we ever in for him? I don't know, but we missed out on him. Habib Diarra went to Sunderland. Rodrigo Muniz stayed. Pezau ended up going to Marseille. He's injured, whatever, but it is what it is. And to top it all off, the whole debacle around Harry Wilson and who do you call him? Buendia. Harry Wilson. Imagine you're bored on transfer deadline day going to Fulham and saying to Fulham, we'll take Harry Wilson on loan for the end of the season, knowing that he's in the final year of his deal. What do you think Fulham's going to say? Catch yourselves on, you know your lane. Catch yourselves on. You want him, you pay for him. Oh, we'll give you 7 million. No, we want 10. No, we want 10 million. We want his worth. And Leeds turn around and put a bid sheet in without any agreement, and then Fulham tell us where to go. It's so pathetic. Pathetic. It really, like, I think at the time I was that angry I couldn't speak with how pathetic that the board. I think the board were like, we're the NFL, we're the 49ers, we're big dogs. They learned very quickly that we're at the bottom of the totem pole here whenever it comes to Premier League clubs. You can't go into a mid-table club like a Fulham, who've been in the league for a long time, that have got a lot of money, and try and bully Fulham. They've got players who are worth money, and they're not selling them to us on the cheap. Why would they? It makes no sense whatsoever. To make matters worse, Buenanotte. I thought that the last couple of days were an absolute farce. Like, you've Buenanotte coming to Leeds, then goes to Chelsea to sit in the reserves. That's on him. Whatever he wants to do, it's his career. Then we start going for Buendia and Harry Wilson and that whole debacle. And it just went like, there's just no magic. You know, for the fact is, we turned around and we have so many good players that have come in that I think are very good players, and we have absolutely no cutting edge up front. My point is, DCL, the match may come good, but they don't have the service. They're both injury prone, which means you rely on Perot then coming in. And Perot, if we're relying on Perot this season, we're going down to the Championship. It's as simple as that. We have no chance. PSR, it makes little or no sense to me, because either our financials are an absolute mess, or they're totally fine and the 49ers have messed up. The thing that baffles me about the 49ers is I've went through the list of players, and we brought in a list of players that approximately £100 million. Approximately. We brought in approximately €8 million. We had, apparently going by Grok and different other ones, total list this summer has been 14 departures. Christensen, people like that. But then you come to the window that's been just closed there, and you're looking at it and going, if a PSR was an issue, why did we pay off Bamford? Why did we let Darko Gyabi go for nothing? Did we get a fee for Jaffe going to Hull? Because Hull can't pay a fee. We know that because Darko went there for nothing in the final year of his deal. Who is doing these deals? It's crazy. We say that, I'm not a massive lover of Ramazani. We say Ramazani's not good enough in an attacking third or an attacking threat in the Premier League because he doesn't cover. Oh, imagine. We let him go out and then we don't bring anybody in. We let him go first and we didn't bring anybody in to replace him. This window to me has proven massively that the transfer team at Leeds are massively underachieving, massively unprofessional, so amateurish that they don't know what they're doing. We brought in the most amount of money in European, possibly world football last summer, wasn't it? Massive profit on players. Archie Gray went to Spurs for 40 million-ish, which you can travel up or amortise or whatever way it works in the PSR, so it's good. And then this summer, after getting promoted to the Premier League with a threadbare squad and not spending any money in January past trying to get to the Premier League, we have the same freeze. We have the same free transfers like Calvert-Lewin, Nemanja. I'm listening to Kieran Maguire and people like Kieran Maguire and saying that Leeds are fine for PSR. So why then, if we're fine for PSR, are we averaging approximately for 10 players, £10 million per player? And if you take the fact that we've brought in 8 to 10 million and says 90 million that we've spent in players, it's averaging £9 million per player that we brought in. That might well come back. That's good value because we stay in the league. The reality is, if you're spending £9 million on a player, and that's every player, you're going down. I'm not happy. I'm fuming actually, because at the end of the day, the lack of signings towards the end of the window has left us massively underpowered. Stats show us that we're massively underpowered. We 3 games, 1 goal from a penalty. No creativity from the midfield. Very good defensively, midfield wise, when we work together as a team. Very, very solid. But this window was a disaster at the end. How can Daniel Farke turn this around? How can Daniel Farke have the tools to stay in the league? And there's only one way that he can do it, and that's being into the free market. And even at that, they're free, and there's going to be a number, for the bigger and the better players, there's going to be a number of clubs that are going to be circling them, because we're not the only club that are going to be in the free market. But I feel like the 49ers have let Farke down. They've let the club down. They've let the fans down. But more than anything, how do you turn around to Daniel Farke in 6 games' time and say we pick up 2 or 3 points? How do you turn around to Daniel Farke and say, well, we're going to sack you, Daniel? You can't. The man can't be sacked. The man has not been given the tools to go out and win a game. We have 10 men away on international duty. We haven't even filled the 25-man squad. And there's a lot to be said about the 25-man squad and all the rest, but we're currently with 4 goalkeepers in that 25-man squad right now. 4. It doesn't make sense. What were the 49ers doing? Unless they pulled something out of the hat, I just don't understand what they're doing. To me, it feels very much like Angus Kinnear left Leeds United and literally went to the board, i.e. Parag Murata, and said, see that guy there? See that guy Underwood? He's a brilliant talent, so he is. He's a brilliant talent. You should really push, he should be the next in line. When in reality, Kinnear's up again. He knows his rival and he knows his shit. He knows his feelings. If you look at Kinnear went to Everton, and you can't tell me Everton are financially better off than us by an awful lot. Whenever they've built the stadium, they've just come out of taking points deductions for 2 seasons and all that jazz. And you can't tell me that they go and get Keenan Dewsbury Hall, Thierry Barry, Jack Grealish, amongst others. They look a proper team going forward. And then there's us. We can't be broke down unless you're Arsenal. But we can't go forward. if we cannot score, we won't stay in the league. Yes, I understand if you can't keep a clean sheet, the likelihood is you're not going to stay in the league either. However, I think we've done a massive disservice to Daniel Farke, and I think the 49ers have to come out and front it up, because I think Parag Muradi to stand in front of those Sky cameras and say what he said to hundreds of thousands and millions of Leeds fans and the world of football just made us out to be a laughingstock, because this is so destroying. And at this stage, to be frank with you, Red Bull's involved. There has to be a question about their involvement going forward, as in, why the hell are we not tapping into their markets? If we have to sell them an hour 20% or an hour 15 to 20% or whatever it means, go and do it. Just do it, because we need, for us to survive, we need a big January. And people can come at me, they can say what they want, but this is as level-headed as I can be right now, and I don't think, whenever the reality boils down, whenever reality sets in for a lot of people, and we're going like 8 to 10 games back to back with injuries and suspensions and a light squad. If anybody picks up an injury now, we've already got Tanaka and Amps out. If anybody in that midfield picks up an injury now, we're screwed. We can't play a 4-2-3-1. We don't have the attacking players. We can't play. Have to play a 4-3-3, but then there's no creativity. Daniel Farke has been shafted. That's my conclusion. We've been shafted. We've been promised the sun, the moon, and the stars. But as always, guys, I mean, on here ages, and I could go on and on and on and all that jazz. I'm not going to. But I want to remind you, it's my opinion. Facts don't care about your feelings and all that shit, but your opinion matters. We're all Leeds fans. We all hurt. We all bleed the same. But we've all got opinions, and our opinions are like arseholes. We all have one. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and if you can, share. Subscribe, please. That'll help me out. I'm gaining a wee bit of traction. Like, I've got 18 or 19 subscribers now, and my shorts are now, there's thousands of people who've seen the shorts, which is great. So I am growing. If anybody wants to get in touch, send me a comment. We'll do a live, do whatever. I'm more than happy. But anyway, thank you for tuning in. If you did get this far, if you haven't, my apologies. It's too long. I understand, but just give me a shout. Thank you. Good luck.